Darius stood outside in the garden, the sun warm on his back. His father, Mr. Sebastian, was talking to him in a cold voice. "You're almost 30, and you still haven't found anyone to love? Are you serious?" he asked. Mr. Sebastian was very worried. He wanted Darius to have a family and give him a grandchild. Darius sighed and replied, "Dad, I can't force love to happen. It's not like that." They were standing outside Mr. Sebastian's big house in Connecticut. Darius didn't even get invited inside. Mr. Sebastian shook his head. "You're still thinking about that girl, Leona, who cheated on you, aren't you? It's been 5 years, son. Let her go. I want to meet my grandchild before I'm too old." Darius just muttered, "Fine, I'll deal with it." His father warned him, "You better find someone soon. If not, I'll pick someone for you." Darius felt frustrated. His father had worked so hard to build a big business, and now he was worried it would all be for nothing if Darius didn't have a family. When Darius got into his car, he called his old friend Gabe, who was a doctor. Gabe answered, "Are you coming by? I have a lot of patients today." Darius grinned. "I'm on my way," he said, hanging up quickly. Gabe worked at a private hospital, and when Darius got there, he found Gabe in his office. "Well, this must be important," Gabe teased. "You never visit unless something's going on." Darius smiled and asked, "How long will it take to have a child?" Gabe raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "Not the traditional way, like with a wife. I just want a kid without the whole marriage thing." Gabe looked surprised but grinned. "You sure you're not having fun with this?" Darius rolled his eyes. "Enough. Tell me how long it takes." "Well, it depends," Gabe said. "If the woman is healthy, it could take less than 2 weeks." But Darius, having a baby is a big responsibility. Darius waved it off. "My dad wants a grandchild, and this is how I'll get it." Gabe sighed. "Okay, but think about it. A baby is not like ordering pizza." Darius didn't want to hear more and went straight to a surrogacy agency to make it happen. Meanwhile, Sabrina, who was struggling to find money to help her sick mother, decided to become a surrogate. She wasn't sure about it, but it seemed like a good way to get money quickly. She was going to carry someone else's baby. "Are you sure?" asked her cousin Rachel. "Yes," Sabrina answered firmly. "I need this for my mom's treatment." She took a bus to New York to meet the people who had chosen her. But when Sabrina arrived at the hospital, things didn't go as expected. She thought she was meeting a couple, but instead, she was met by a man who worked for Darius's family. "I'm Mr. Sebastian's assistant," he said. "Your egg was used with Darius's sperm for the surrogacy." Sabrina was confused. "But I was supposed to meet someone named Cruz, not Darius." The assistant just shrugged and took her to the hospital room where she would officially become pregnant. Later, Darius was in Italy having meetings. But Gabe called him with shocking news. "Darius, how many kids are you trying to have? We just had one woman come in, claiming she was the surrogate you agreed on." Darius panicked and flew home right away. He was angry. When he arrived at the condo, he found Sabrina in the kitchen cooking. She looked familiar, and Darius froze. "Leona?" he whispered, his heart stopping. The woman turned to face him, and he quickly realized it wasn't Leona. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm Darius Sebastian," he replied. "Aren't you supposed to be resting? Where are the maids?" Sabrina introduced herself. She was nervous, but also brave. She explained that she wasn't the person Darius thought was supposed to carry his child, but she had agreed to the surrogacy for the money. Darius didn't know what to do. He couldn't tell her to leave. Sabrina's reasons were real, and she was carrying his child. As days went by, Darius started to visit her more often, and they got to know each other better. Sabrina was not his first choice, but there was something about her that felt right. Darius found himself worrying about her. She told him she didn't have much family, and her mom was sick. He started taking care of her, even though he had never planned to get attached. Darius spent more time with Sabrina, getting to know her story. He started to see her differently. Maybe this arrangement was changing his life. Sabrina had no idea how much she was changing his heart. One day, Darius went to find Leona, his ex-girlfriend. He wanted answers about why she had cheated on him years ago. He found her at a coffee shop. "What happened to you?" he asked. "I made mistakes," she answered. "I cheated on you, and I regret it." Darius was hurt, but he didn't want to talk anymore. "I have someone else now," he said. "I'm expecting a child." Leona looked shocked. Back at the condo, Darius and Sabrina's relationship deepened. They started caring for each other, even though they had never planned it. Sabrina was due to give birth soon, and Darius was nervous but excited. They were no longer just strangers, and their baby would be a part of both their lives. Darius even bought baby clothes for the little one. As the months passed, Sabrina's belly grew, and so did their bond. She began to trust him, and he started to see her as more than just a surrogate. But still, their arrangement had to end once the baby was born. When the baby came, it was a beautiful moment. A little girl. Sabrina couldn't believe how much she had changed. The baby was perfect, and even though she wasn't her biological mother, Sabrina felt a deep connection to the child. Darius promised to take care of Sabrina and the baby, no matter what. The fear from the past, the worries about the surrogate, and all the troubles faded away. The future looked bright. Sabrina wrote in her journal, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." And she had chosen peace. Sabrina, Darius, and their baby girl started a new life together. No longer haunted by the past, they looked forward to a future full of love and family. This version simplifies the plot and reduces it to a more digestible form for younger readers, while still retaining the important themes of the original story. I hope this works. The new beginning after the baby was born, everything changed. Sabrina, Darius, and little Emery felt like a family, even though their journey had been unexpected. Every day felt like a new adventure. Sabrina had never imagined that this surrogacy would turn into something so beautiful, but she was happy. She felt peace for the first time in a long time. Darius also felt something he wasn't expecting. When he held Emery in his arms for the first time, his heart swelled with love. It wasn't just about the baby being his child anymore. He cared about Sabrina too. They had been through so much together, and he was thankful she was part of his life. He kept telling her how amazing she was for everything she had done. As they settled into their new life, Sabrina still couldn't believe everything that had happened. She thought about how scared she was when she first started this journey. She never imagined that she would end up with Darius, someone who was kind and understanding. Darius was always there for her, whether it was taking her to the doctor, buying things for the baby, or just sitting with her when she felt overwhelmed. Sometimes, he would look at her and smile, as if he was grateful to have her around, and she started to feel the same way about him. Sabrina often reflected on how different her life had become. She had left her old life behind, the one where she lived in fear and sadness. Now, she had a new family to care for. Her mother, Nora, also moved in with them. Nora had been getting better, and Sabrina was relieved to have her mom around. It felt like everything was coming together, slowly but surely. One evening, while Darius was reading in the study, Sabrina stood by the window, watching the rain fall outside. She could hear Emery's soft breathing in the other room. She smiled to herself, feeling like she had finally found a place where she belonged. Darius walked in and stood beside her. "You look deep in thought," he said. Sabrina turned to him. "Just thinking about how lucky I am," she whispered. Darius smiled, his eyes softening. "Me too," he said, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You've changed everything for me, Sabrina." She looked at him, surprised by his words. "I never thought we'd be here, you know," she replied. "I never thought I'd have a family or feel this way." Darius looked down at his feet for a moment, then took her hand. "Life is funny like that. It changes when you least expect it." Sabrina nodded, feeling a sense of calm wash over her. "Yeah, it really does." They stood there together in silence, the rain tapping on the window, knowing that their future was now full of possibilities. Facing the past as life settled into a new routine, Sabrina couldn't help but think about the past. Even though Elijah James, now Eric Boyd, had been caught and was no longer a threat, the memories of how he had followed her for so many years still haunted her. She never wanted to remember the fear he had caused her, but it was impossible to forget. One evening, Darius found Sabrina sitting on the porch, looking out into the night sky. He sat beside her, sensing that something was on her mind. "You okay?" he asked gently. Sabrina sighed, her eyes tired. "I keep thinking about everything, about Elijah, about the way he followed me. I still don't remember everything, and it bothers me." Darius put his arm around her. "It's okay not to remember everything. What matters is that you're safe now. You're here with me, with Emery. You're not that scared little girl anymore. You're strong, Sabrina." She looked at him and smiled, feeling comforted by his words. "I know. I just wish I could have remembered sooner. Maybe it would have made things easier. It would have been nice." Darius agreed. "But we can't change the past. What matters is what we do now. And we're doing just fine." Sabrina nodded. She knew he was right. The past couldn't hurt her anymore, not as long as she had her new family by her side. A new family. A few weeks later, Darius took Sabrina and Nora to a beautiful park outside the city. It was a sunny day, and the trees swayed gently in the breeze. The air felt fresh, and everything seemed peaceful. Sabrina smiled, pushing Emery's stroller as they walked along the path. She was happy. She could tell that Darius was too. "I was thinking," Darius said as they walked, "maybe we should move to a place where we can start fresh, you know? Just the three of us." Sabrina turned to him, surprised by the idea. "What do you mean?" "I mean, we can start our own little family," Darius said. "We can build our own traditions, our own space. It's time for us to make our own way." Sabrina's heart warmed. She had never imagined that Darius, of all people, would want that. But now, with Emery in her arms and Darius by her side, the idea of a fresh start sounded perfect. "I love that idea," she said, smiling up at him. "It's exactly what we need." Darius reached out and squeezed her hand. "Then it's settled," he said. "We'll start over together. A new life, a new family." As they walked along the path, Sabrina felt a sense of joy in her chest. For the first time in her life, she felt like she had everything she ever needed. She had a family that loved her, and a future full of hope. A peaceful life. The next few months passed quickly. Sabrina, Darius, and little Emery enjoyed their life together. They spent weekends at the park, took walks around the neighborhood, and laughed together during quiet evenings at home. Nora helped take care of Emery, and they all spent time with her, enjoying the peace they had worked so hard to find. Darius continued to work hard, but he made sure to always make time for Sabrina and Emery. He loved being a father, and he loved watching Emery grow up. There was something special about being a parent, he realized. It made everything in life feel more meaningful. Sabrina also found herself growing in new ways. She started to trust herself more and more. She had learned to stand up for what she wanted and needed, and she was building a life that made her proud. She was no longer just a girl with a past full of pain. She was a woman with a future full of hope. The end of the journey one evening, as Sabrina sat in the living room, she looked out the window at the city lights. The life she had once imagined felt so different from the one she had now, but in the best way possible. Darius walked in, carrying a tray of hot chocolate. He set it down beside her, sitting next to her on the couch. "You okay?" he asked softly. Sabrina smiled at him. "Yeah, I'm good," she said, reaching for her mug. "I've never been better." Emery giggled from the playpen, her little hands reaching out for the toys nearby. Sabrina and Darius both turned to look at her, their hearts full. "We made it," Darius said quietly. "Yeah," Sabrina whispered, taking his hand. "We made it." And in that moment, surrounded by the warmth of their family, Sabrina realized that the journey she had once feared was now a beautiful new beginning.